Welcome to Forgotten Video Store, the podcast where we go to the rental store of the same name in North Hollywood and rent one of their unique movies that you can't find anywhere else on the planet. I'm your host, David Murto, aka Daddy Big Cup. My guest this week is an independent filmmaker. Luke Matthews is here! Luke, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my gosh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, and thanks for coming all the way to North Hollywood to rent a tape with me. Luke, what do you get up to?
Yeah, I would say I very excited to promote my new feature film, Tricks Can Go Wrong, which is out now on Apple TV and Amazon Prime.
Right, and it's like one of the super affordable ones. I think it starts at like $2 you can rent it.
Yes, very affordable. You can rent it. The whole family can enjoy it. You can rent it multiple times. You can rent it as many times as you want. You can buy it as many times
potentially
as you
buy
want.
it. Yeah. And it's like, it's not long, you know, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. You can like pop. I watched it in the afternoon. It was like a perfect afternoon with a cup of tea movie.
Right on, man. Right on. I appreciate that.
And it was an extremely interesting, I don't know what you'd call it, format or genre, or it reminded me of Nathan Fielder in the sense that it's a mockumentary that incorporates people who are not in on the joke. So many of the characters, there was a tarot card reader that was really fascinating, who apparently thought it was a sincere documentary. Many of the characters don't realize that it's a bit.
Totally.
much like Borat in some ways.
100%. Yeah, it's combining real people just taken off the street with scripted narrative moments. So these real people think that the movie that we're shooting is real life. So everyone is the actors and even the crew are in this, you know, kind of method working style where we're keeping up the illusion for these real people so that they think the documentary we're shooting is not a mockumentary, but actually real life.
Right. There was a particularly effective sequence with, I think he's presented as a manager who's giving you notes basically on the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah. I was dying at that part. He's giving notes on things we've already seen happen in the movie, and he's not very impressed with it. And
that's kind of there is like a ongoing film within the film in a way in terms of this. The main character is an aspiring magician. So for the first time we see the footage we've shot up to that point edited as this character's magic reel, and it is nothing but just a complete train wreck. And this acting coach is giving him notes on his performance in real time. That is, you know, to his credit, he's being completely honest, but it is absolutely brutal to this aspiring magician in a way that, you know, like you were saying, Nathan Fielder, a little bit of cringe humor.
I'm talking about it as if it is kind of a lot of laughs and like a very silly concept, but it also has that narrative element that, you know, it's about a magician who's not particularly skilled, but has an inflated sense of himself and is pursuing this career perhaps well past the point when he should have given up.
Totally.
His parents, his friends are kind of trying to talk him into going into a real career. And as an aging screenwriter with very limited success, I could not relate to that at all.
Yeah, it did not write from my own personal experience at all. As an aspiring filmmaker, it was a total reach. No, but 1,000%. That was definitely the inspiration, was this kind of Ed Wood or Tommy Wiseau character. Something we talked about a lot was all of the passion, but none of the talent.
Yeah.
And in this kind of something that I'm sure maybe you've experienced or anyone in this industry, that point, that crossroads where this kind of post-college existential crisis where, you know, your friends are maybe at different stages of life. Some of them are, you know, growing up, might be getting married or even having kids or getting promoted at their jobs. And even though you guys maybe went to the same school, grew up in the same town, more or less had the same experiences growing up, after college, it just kind of splits. And that growth is just exponential. And that those diverging paths feel very quick and kind of sudden. And the story centers around these two friends going through exactly that. One being the magician, and the other one
like
doing
a
much better
corporate job.
Yeah, and it's doing much better in his corporate job or, his kind of quote unquote grown up life.
I feel like we're breaking the format of my podcast slightly because this is a movie that people can actually see without having to go to this mysterious video rental store in North Hollywood. So I don't know if I need a disclaimer or something. It's like normally I talk about movies that my audience, it would be very difficult for them to see. This one, tricks can go wrong. Very easy for people to see. You just go onto Apple or Amazon or wherever you rent your movies. And you should, because it's a fun time. It's a very breezy runtime. Yeah, and you can be supporting independent artists by renting this movie.
If you want to support an independent artist, I will gladly take your support.
Right. One more thing I noticed about Tricks Can Go Wrong, the protagonist kind of has a subtle hint that maybe he's holding on to his juvenile attitudes. His sheets are dinosaur sheets.
Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So perhaps he might have enjoyed the movie you picked out this week from the Forgotten Video Store called DinoDoor. It's from
classic
1994. It's directed by Steve Barron, not Steve Bannon. Steve Barron directed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he actually found more success as a music video director. He directed one of my favorites, Aha's Take on Me. Do you remember that? It was like the sketches. It was like hand-drawn sketches, and they kind of came to life, and the people came into the video. It was really cool. So why'd you pick out DinoDoor?
This was one of my favorites as a kid, and it's one of those films where not too many people know about it, and when you kind of talk to people, if they do know it, it's that instant bond is formed, and if they don't, you feel like maybe it was a weird fever dream, and the movie doesn't even exist at all.
DinoDoor. So it's the title is a play on the word dinosaur. It's a slant rhyme, I guess. DinoDoor, because dinosaur is a little different.
Dinosaur. DinoDoor.
Not important.
It seems like, and if it is 94, it seems like it's right on the hills of Jurassic Park.
Yes,
so they're just
Park,
grasping at
the nation had dino fever.
It seems like some executive came up with the title, and then someone wrote the screenplay in a week. And they really rushed to get this one out the door before the dino fever was gone in the culture.
Okay, so let's get into the plot of this movie a little bit. We meet our hero, and you acted like you recognized this boy, and for me, he was like couldn't quite place him. But do you know who this is?
Danny Cooksey, who many might recognize him from Terminator 2 fame. So he's not John Connor, but he's the kid on the back of the dirt bike. The kid who's like, with the cop's like,
so the cop comes out, the cop who's actually the evil Terminator comes up, is like, and he's like, no, I don't know that guy. So he's like, he knows not to rat, even though he's like a little boy or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's who that was. Thank you. Danny Cooksey is our hero, and he's like a little mop top redhead boy, and he's going to school.
It's kind of that thing where he's the new kid, doesn't have too many friends. They kind of set up very briefly in the beginning that his dad, they had to move to a different town. That whole thing, and very, very quickly he runs into what I would call his main adversary, his main bully, who right off the top is just pretty scary, I would say,
right?
Even as an adult.
The teacher's like, we have a new student in class, and I want you to welcome Danny Cooksey, and the mean kid goes, fire crotch. And it's like, what was that?
Yeah,
and it's like, I'm not even sure this, because he's a redhead, I'm not even sure this kid has pubes yet.
Yeah.
He's a little boy. He might not have a fire crotch yet, but eventually he will. Maybe that's what the bully's getting at.
Yeah. And it was also strange that even like the teacher kind of laughs and like shrugs it off and kind of sends him on his way to his desk.
You look to the teacher for defense against bullies, not to like kind of support the bullies.
Yeah, she was like, okay, settle down. I'm like, I don't know. That is a core traumatic moment for poor Danny Cooksey. And then of course that classic thing on top of that, he's walking to his desk and he trips him and he just eats it onto the floor. Again, the teacher not stepping in at all. But right away, the job is done. We do not like this kid, and we know he is the antagonist.
You see Cooksey go to his locker, right? Well, they set up the shot. It's like you've got one little boy opens his locker, and it's like Playboy centerfold. It's like all the hot women, The next little boy opens his locker. It's like more like beautiful women from Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Danny Cooksey opens up his locker, and it's like different dinosaurs from like Highlights for Kids or National Geographic. I don't know where he got these pictures, but it's like magazine cutouts of dinosaurs. And so you're like,
he would have like stolen a library book or something.
Ooh, so he's a little bad.
Yeah. Maybe his little edge of rebellion. But yeah, you get he's like a misfit, I suppose. He doesn't fit in. He's not quite a nerd, but he, in this, he has his fixation on dinosaurs, of course. This is on the heels of Terminator. He's kind of playing a bad boy in that. So he's more of I suppose, a social outcast.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to relate to that at all. I have no idea what that feels like. But yeah, so he's at his locker, and of course this guy and his gang come back. This was a moment where he pulls out like a switchblade, which just having that at school was
like, whoa, kind of, that
was kind of intense. And he like cuts off a lock of his hair. And almost like the creepy Thin Man in Charlie's Angels, cuts off a lock of his hair and smells it. And you're like, I just remember, is this a psycho? Like, is this a bully or is this a complete psycho?
Right. Getting bullied is one thing. I at my current age would freak out if someone came up with a switchblade and cut off a lock of my hair and sniffed it.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, is this guy a bully? But he's also like sensually interested, at least in some way.
There is some sort of infatuation, or you get the sense that, I don't know, they obviously don't show anything like this.
Because even the term fire crotch it's loaded sexually.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you get the feeling that he has a collection of other hair just from people he's bullied. Like, serial killers keep trinkets or something.
Yeah.
After this, somewhat another very traumatic moment of an encounter with what I think we can agree is a true psychopath is now it's lunchtime. Mm-hmm. So he's heading into the cafeteria. And again, that classic thing of who you can eat lunch with.
Right. It reminded me of like Forrest Gump, where like no one wants to sit with them at the bus.
Yes. Mean Girls, you can't sit with us. Mm-hmm. And it's that thing of, kind of panning to each clique's table. They scoot their chairs in, or there might be a free spot, but not for him.
There's one like table where it looks like maybe there's some space for him, but bully comes up, shoves him just enough, like kind of like runs into him, like where there's deniability, right? Like it could have been an accident. Shoves him enough, he drops his tray. His spaghetti is all over the floor, his garlic bread, his milk is spilling, and he kind of tries to like gather it all up, and you're like, oh, that spaghetti's been on the floor, like I wouldn't eat that, but it's like, what's he gonna do, right? Yeah. So this is a dark moment for our hero, Danny Cooksey. He leaves the lunchroom, and he's trying to find the most secluded area where he just needs some time to himself, right?
Yeah.
Finds like a staircase, goes downstairs into the basement of the school, where there's like storage, like a boiler room type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it's called.
And stuff.
Yeah. And who do we find but a little old janitor? And he's played by Robert Forster. His comeback was a few years later in Jackie Brown, right? And he got work consistently after that. But this was kind of in a low point in his career. I used to see Robert Forster. I worked at the ArcLight on Sunset Boulevard for a long time. Robert Forster came all the time, and I remember in those days, like IMDb, they would always have like the top birthdays of the day, and I would like see that in the morning. And one day, it was like Robert Forster, and I was like, oh, I love that guy, And then later that day, he came into the movies when I was working, and I was like, Mr. Forster, happy birthday. And he came over to me and like shook my hand, and he goes, don't tell anyone I was seeing Madagascar on my birthday.
No way.
And of course, I have broken that vow consistently since that happened. Rest in peace, Robert Forster.
Was he by himself?
No, he was with his family.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Did you ask him about DinoDoor?
I had never seen nor heard of DinoDoor, so I didn't know to ask him about it.
I wonder how often he got asked about this.
But he's down there, and he's
down there just sweeping, and it's one of those things like, does this guy work here?
Yeah.
Is he kind of like this otherworldly wizard, or have this other kind of power, and this is his sort of disguise there.
Right, yeah. He
Is Danny
appears to
Cooksey
be a janitor, and he is sweeping, but his broom is like one of those Halloween prop brooms.
The bristles are almost just other sticks.
He does say, "Welcome to my realm."
Yeah, that's true. He speaks in a kind of language that is not
little
like any
heightened.
other character in the movie.
Yeah. And so they get to talking, and Danny Cooksey kind of feels more comfortable around this guy, and is like, I'm the new kid, and everyone, I don't really fit in.
He gets very vulnerable, and the janitor is nice and kind of asking him about his interests, and
We get a little more about Danny Cooksey's obsession with dinosaurs. He loves dinosaurs. His dream is really to like live with the dinosaurs. He thinks that would be so much better than living with like kids his own age. He just like, if he could have lived 65 million years ago with all these creatures, like that would have been the best,
he doesn't get along with people very well, but he envisions a world of just him and dinosaurs as complete bliss.
So Robert Forster's character tells him, "I left something right behind that door. Could you go grab it for me?" And Danny Cooksey says, "Well, the door's right behind you. Why don't you?" And Robert Forster's like, "You go beyond the door." Danny Cooksey goes, opens the door, pitch black, goes in a few steps. He sees a little light, kind of a few more steps down, goes, walks.
When Danny is walking down that hallway, he kind of looks back like, "Are you sure? Like back here?" And he gives that weird like, like keep going, like that, like he's kind of shooing him down this path.
And as he's like kind of stepping into the light, he's not stepping out of a doorway, he's like stepping out of a cave into a wonderful land, lush green hills, some volcanoes off in the distance, palm trees, I guess. And you're like, what is this place? There's no buildings, there's no streets, cars, no human habitation to be seen.
Yeah, and this moment is actually like, it's one of those things where you feel that they put all their budget into this one scene.
Yeah,
there's definitely other
this
things.
This is a trailer moment.
Yeah, animatronics where it, might be they're kind of, cutting corners, but here was like, okay, this is really the big reveal. And he walks in, and it's that kind of almost John Ford up over the hilltop to like a big open landscape, and that's where you get the huge, long necks and the big open plains. This is your kind of, they're taking obviously, this page right out of Jurassic Park's book. The score is very reminiscent of John Williams, maybe lawfully too much. I don't know if there was any dispute, but it's like, okay, his dreams have been realized, and he's kind of walking around and he's taking it all in.
A herd of Brontosaurus. There's little skippy guys. I don't know what they were called. Triceratops, all the greats.
And then very quickly in this kind of big landscape moment, one just like jumps in right in front of frame and starts talking, which I don't know about you, but the first time I saw it, I didn't think this world would have dinosaurs that, I suppose if you had seen the trailer, you would know.
Right.
But
I had not.
Given the way they kind of set this up, you think he's just going to be, I don't know, hanging around prehistoric times maybe. But very quickly it jumps into that early 90s like, hey, who are you? It's
right,
like, oh, okay, I guess the dinosaurs talk.
Right, and they are men in suits, much like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, you can see why they would have gotten that director. Yeah.
Yeah, and occasionally when the animatronic elements on their mouths open, you can spot the actors inside the masks, like operating the thing.
They ran out of time, or I suppose they didn't have the proper VFX to kind of black that stuff out.
It's a group of 3 that come up to Danny Cooksey, and it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's a Brontosaurus, and it's a Triceratops. First, the Tyrannosaurus comes up and is like, look at this guy. It brings his friends over. It's like, what's this stuff? And is like, starts like messing with his hair. It's all red. This isn't scales.
Yeah, they would have never seen a human before. It's absolutely true.
And they're not impressed.
Not impressed. And poor Danny Cooksey cannot escape the the trials of being a redhead kid. Again, infatuated with his hair.
Where's your tail?
Yeah.
This dude's tail
what small
fell
teeth
off.
you have.
It's an opposite Little Red Riding Hood situation.
Yeah. And also, these dinosaurs are in Hawaiian shirts and like Chuck Taylor Converse with like backwards hats and stuff. None
They're
of the
cool.
other dinosaurs in this world have human clothing whatsoever.
Right.
It was almost like they're working backwards from the poster, and that these, these kids have like lightning bolts. These dinosaurs have lightning bolts on their Hawaiian shirts or a backwards hat to seem fun and cool to sell toys.
He's like, he's got no tail. He's got no scales. He doesn't even have any horns. They start shoving him around. It looks like these dinosaurs are gonna eat Danny Cooksey.
He's like, he seems pretty done for.
It's a precarious situation.
But there is a noise off in the distance. It's a bird chirps or something, and they kind of turn very quickly. And when he turns, his tail hits Danny Cooksey, I would say, fairly hard.
Right. Kind of right in the stomach.
Yeah.
Gets a wind knocked
and he
out of
flies like, 10 feet, but then kind of rolls down a hill and tumbles, and now he's off on his own.
In kind of a dark wooded area, yeah.
Yeah, and safe from... New problems have been presented, but he's safe from these bullies, these dino bullies for now.
But he's like moping around. He's like, I thought that new school was bad, and I always wanted to just be with dinos, but the dinos are bullies and they want to eat me, and I don't have my spaghetti anymore. And then some 3 new creatures come up. And they look freaky.
Yeah, it's like, okay, here we go again.
And they're like wearing like dark mascara around their eyes. Their like claws are painted black. They've got like chains and stuff. And you're like, oh, these are some nasty beasts.
Yeah, even though dinosaurs don't have human hair, one has bangs that hangs black
over
hair
one
hangs
eye
in front of one of their eyes.
Yeah, that was cool as hell. These creatures are coming up and they're like, look at this thing. Danny Cooksey goes, oh, you're a Erlikosaurus, and you're a Corythosaurus, and you're a Dimetrodon. And I'm like, I had never heard of any of these kind of dinosaurs, but this kid is like a dino expert. And these dinos hear this guy and they're like, you know who we are? Normally, people only know the popular dinosaurs, the T-Rex, the Brontosaurus, the Triceratops. No one ever knows us. So they're like really impressed with his dino knowledge, right?
They feel very seen in that moment. Mm-hmm. And they hear Danny's stomach rumble.
And they're like, are you a carnivore or a herbivore? I'm kind of an omnivore. And they're like, great, we'll catch you something. And they go and Erlikosaurus goes to this little pond, and like he's got a weird like long neck kind of, and like real freaky like awkward looking arms, but he like dips his neck in the water and like catches a big old fish and like tosses it to Danny.
It's funny because this is where they're kind of playing with scale a little bit too. So it looks like it's only 5 inches. The fish is 5 inches long in the dinosaur's hand.
Right, but they do a match cut to it landing at Danny's lap, and it's like huge. It's like several feet long.
Yeah, it's like this 4 foot like giant fish.
And he's
that
like,
stuff is fun.
Raw fish. I get. And it's like, you got to remember, this is like the mid 90s. Like your average American wasn't into sushi yet.
Yeah, 100%. But it's also like, Danny, you were about to eat spaghetti off the floor.
Right. Yeah.
And then I feel like from that moment they're kind of bonded. He's part of the pack now.
And they're like, I've never seen this weird stuff on your head, like his red hair or whatever. But the Corythosaurus, who has like kind of got a red like frill on her head, she goes, I like it. Kind of like makes eyes at him. And it's like, oh, the Corythosaurus. And she goes by Corey. And that's like kind of the cool, hot dino lady.
Yeah, and the first time that we've seen in this movie, probably the first time ever in Danny's life, that he has been cool for red hair.
And then, a little surprising, they get into like a musical number, and this is not a musical movie, really. This is the only musical number in the movie. They seem to have taken some direction from Hakuna Matata from The Lion King, which had come out earlier the same year. The message of the song is kind of weird is good. It's like, it's great to be different. They say stuff like, roar together and we soar together.
Yeah, and she's like, I have weird hair and I don't care. I'm forgetting the rest of this song.
Yeah, but they like dance
very...
around. There's like a tree trunk that fell over like a chasm or something, and they like cross in a line over the chasm, and you see like Danny almost loses his balance, and Corey kind of saves him, and they make eyes at each other. It's real cute.
There's some interspecies love affair happening there.
Yeah.
They don't seem to care too much about it, but
No,
we'll take it.
they're into each other. Yeah.
And with the song, like, again, you know, like you said, it's the only musical number in the entire movie. You get the sense that some executive, this is one of those movies that was like, the title is DinoDoor. It has to have one musical number because, again, this is coming off the heels of Jurassic Park and Lion King.
Right.
And of course, obviously, Star Wars, it has to be able to sell toys.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
I feel like that, yeah, this is them just like kind of checking their boxes. You know, if you do these 3 things, you have the green light. And in this moment, they kind of you get the idea that what Danny brings to the table is human ingenuity, I suppose you would call it.
What separates us from beasts is our ability to use tools.
1,000%. So he's there sharpening spears, building a tree house.
The tree house is cool as hell. It reminded me of the layer where the kids hang out in Hook.
Yes, like skating around and in the ramps and stuff.
Also, like Steve Barron's earlier movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Where the Foot Clan hangs out.
It's like a skate park. So it's like these awesome settings that are like clearly designed to kind of be the expensive play set that you would ask for Christmas.
It's a total 10-year-old's fantasy, and then it's the full package. Collect them all. This is the Barbie Malibu Dream House moment.
But you have this scene where it's like nighttime, and he's kind of teaching them like, if you stay in here during the nighttime while you sleep, you won't get eaten, you won't get rained on, you have a private area. So he and Corey are kind of like in this little area together, and she's like, what did you call this again? He's like, it's called a room. And they're like kind of getting closer and closer, and she like nuzzles up against him. That
moment is super interesting because it's the love that one would have with maybe a pet dog.
Right.
You can kind of see that's how Corey's playing it. However, there are other moments where they make eyes at each other that is hinting at bestiality, maybe.
Yeah, isn't bestiality? Because she is an animal, a dinosaur, but she also has the ability to speak. So she's intelligent in that. She's like I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to call it bestiality, but it is a little weird.
Yeah, weird for a kid's movie for sure.
Danny is telling them about his bullies, and Erlikosaurus and Corey and Dimetrodon. Dimetrodon goes by Dimitri, and Erlikosaurus, of course, goes by Erlik. And they're talking. They're like, "Oh, that sounds like what we've got. The popular dinos are always like harassing us and trying to eat us and stuff." Sidebar, the popular dinos include the Brontosaurus and the Triceratops, which makes sense because they're like some of the most known dinosaurs, but they are herbivores. But in this movie, they present it as if they're in danger of eating the good dinosaurs at any moment. But anyway, that's just a little factual inaccuracy.
The movie toes a very interesting line of being very hyper-specific about dinosaur knowledge and not seeming to care about it at all.
That's right. Erlik and Corey and Dimitri are kind of like, we could do a kind of a quid pro quo. You help us with our bully problem, we'll help you with your bully problem. So he starts setting up like defenses.
There's like a training montage with spears and thrusting moves and stuff, and now the dinosaurs are figuring out how to use these makeshift swords and things like that. It should be mentioned that throughout this montage of them building and Danny kind of showing him human tools or human engineering, I suppose, there are a few shots of these other bully dinosaurs looking at them, half snooping, half spying, but then also with these emotions of kind of jealousy or like that looks kind of cool. Like I wish I could do that.
But like to their faces, they're like, "That's stupid," that kind of stuff.
Yeah. They're not ever saying that out loud. They finally do come up to their, I guess, tree house or whatever, and now the misfit dinosaurs with Danny already, and it's a brawl is kind of about to ensue.
And the Tyrannosaurus is like, I hope you guys are done playing with your sticks, cause it's time for you to be our lunch. And they start chomping at them. But our hero dinosaurs, Ehrlich and Corey, have got the big spears right. And so like the Tyrannosaurus opens his mouth and they poke him right in the mouth. So yow! Like that. And then the Brontosaurus, which again, herbivore, so he's not in real life, wouldn't actually eat them, but he comes up, and then Dimetrodon has like, they fashion like a rope out of different like jungle vines and stuff. And he like does like a noose around him, pulls it real tight, and then like ties him up so the Brontosaurus can't like grab him.
And then when the Triceratops is running at him, as he's running in his path, there's like a pile of leaves, and he steps on that pile and just falls 10 feet into a ditch. And it's kind of funny because you just see his head. All you can see is his head above the ground.
Yeah, it's cool as hell. And you think like these dinosaurs are gonna be like real pissed, but really the Tyrannosaurus is like, you guys, this is cool. And they like want to learn more about this because they've never seen like this kind of engineering, these kind of tools. Is like, I just thought you guys were like lame, but I guess it's okay to be different. And you kind of get this moment of like, oh, it's not about the violence. It's about coming to understand each other. That's how we solve our problems. And Danny Cooksey showed these dinos that, and they kind of showed him that.
Totally. And even though they're different or maybe quote unquote weird, they have other things to offer that could be interesting, which I would say as a 10-year-old was a very cool lesson to be learned.
So that night, they're all kind of a team now, and they're like roasting up.
You know, it's that thing of like a pond frond with a bunch of slugs on it. Some more like animatronic fun for sure. Again, a page out of like Lion King's book.
Mm-hmm.
But they're roasting bugs, and I would call them squirrels, but whatever the equivalent of that would be in prehistoric times. Yeah, it's like the score, and you just hear laughter and like muddled conversation. It's a party for sure.
Yeah, and then Corey, the Corythosaurus, reaches over and like grabs Danny Cooksey's hand, and they share a look. She pulls him, and she says, "Let's go to that room." She remembers it right now. And they go, and they start kissing. She takes off Danny's shirt, unbuckles his pants. I grabbed the box to the movie. I'm like, this is a PG movie, but it gets pretty hot and heavy at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how this got past censorship.
Cut in some weird close-ups, but and it's like the scale is real weird because when Corey is the dinosaur, like a person in a dinosaur suit, like it's a small doll-sized version of Danny Cooksey, right? And when it's the Danny Cooksey, they show from his angle, and it's the real actor. Then it's like the giant-sized dinosaur model, and they kind of cut back and forth, almost like Lord of the Rings with the scale doubles and everything.
They're using every trick in the book to pull this off, which makes you wonder even more so is that there are teams and teams of artisans and a lot of thought put into this love scene between a dinosaur.
Borderline bestiality.
Yeah.
Cross species.
The 90s, what a wild time.
So they wake up the next morning and kind of all the dinosaurs are acting like they have a hangover. I don't know if they were drinking, but that's the implication, I guess. Ehrlich is like, fair's fair. You helped us with our bullies. We'll help you with yours. And you're like, I'm thinking, we learned this valuable lesson about like, don't solve your problems with violence. Solve your problems by learning to understand each other. Like, how is he going to apply this in the human world? And basically, they all kind of go back to the cave where he emerged, like towards the beginning of the movie. And they go through the dark, and then they bust open. And it's a real funny image because you cut and you're in the basement of the school again, and you see Danny walk out. And then you see like the dinosaurs, and they kind of get stuck in the doorway because they're too huge. And then they like bust, and the whole door frame and part of the wall like comes down, and these huge dinosaurs start coming through.
And then it's hard cut back to the cafeteria. Where
it's like no time has passed. It's like
for them, no
Narnia
time has passed.
something.
What has been weeks for Danny in Dino World is seconds in the human world. And the bully is up there.
But he's yucking it up with his friends. It's like, and then the spaghetti was on the ground.
Right. That would have been moments ago. And then all of a sudden, you know, you see like the thump of his food tray.
Right,
you
yeah.
Get his
juice, his apple juice or whatever in the cup, and it's like the
ripples. You see that you know, the water moment out of
Jurassic
Jurassic Park,
possibly like Universal
Jell-O
maybe could have had legal action because that is the exact same shot from Jurassic Park.
I would be very curious to look up the legal history surrounding this film, which is probably why it's so hard to find.
This is true.
Yeah.
But anyway, then the dinos like bust into the cafeteria and they're like, okay, so maybe like the bully's gonna see like, oh, it's cool that you're friends with dinosaurs or whatever, and like learn to understand Danny a little better. That is not what happens. These dinosaurs do not pause. They run right up to the bully and
do that thing where they pick him up by the collar of his jacket, and he's just hanging there.
And they're swinging him
like,
around.
Is this the guy? And then he's like, yeah. They grab him by the collar, and he's dangling. You know, he's a couple feet off the ground. You see his feet dangling there, and then it's Danny's moment for his kind of big speech. What you think is going to be a second moral thematic,
right?
moment.
Like a weird is good, and our differences are what make us interesting and stronger, or whatever. But then the Triceratops just rushes up and uses his horns, kind of slices right through the bully's stomach, and all his guts start spilling out. And I'm like, okay, so this is a different message than what I thought it was. And Erlikosaurus with his weird, like, long hand starts, like, clawing at him, cutting him all over. Dimetrodon goes up and, like, chomps his feet, and, like, his feet come right off. And then, like, he's got the stubby legs that are all bleeding out. It's extremely gruesome. And then the next part was kind of cool. Like, Tyrannosaurus Rex, who's, like, holding him by the back of the jacket, like, kind of tosses him up a little bit. And, like, on his way back down, he goes chomp and like rips his head clean off. And so the bully's like mangled body lands on the ground. There's blood everywhere. Again, PG movie. And I'm like, what are we supposed to take from this?
Very graphic. I mean, I would say it would give Ari Aster a run for his money. And then the Tyrannosaurus regurgitates the bully's head, and it kind of rolls right up to Danny's feet. Danny bends down and cuts a lock off his hair.
Yeah.
And puts it in his pocket. And you're like, oh, okay, so now Danny's a psychopath? Now he's gone power hungry off dinosaurs?
Yeah, and then
with
there's
dinosaurs at his side?
Then there's a cut, and it's like the school hallway, a teacher or the principal or someone in a suit like walks out and then sees Robert Forster with the broom kind of sweeping along the hallway and is like, hey, you know you're not supposed to be, we have a restraining order. You can't be within 500 yards of the school. And you're like, okay, so this guy isn't a janitor. He's just a weird kind of magical dude who causes trouble at the school.
He's a questionable character, I'll say that.
So that's DinoDoor. Really moving experience. I feel like I learned a lot about dinosaurs and about interacting with people.
Yeah, I think I learned how to take the moral high ground. Other people, even though they're different, might have other things to offer or learn from. And other people, you can solve your problems with horrific violence. But I don't know if you caught it. There is a post-credit scene.
Dang, I was in the bathroom. Oh, I missed it.
And it's definitely setting up for a sequel that just never happened.
Sure.
But you see Cora lays an egg. And the egg is this half human, half dino hybrid.
Oh, cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah. And it's a very small scale. It's like stop motion kind of puppet thing.
Amazing.
But yeah, I would have loved to see that movie, honestly. But hey, can't win them all.
Thanks so much for picking out that movie. I loved it. I like to end things out with something I call plugs and rants. So if there's anything you want to promote, you can go ahead and do that. Or anything you want to rant about, get off your chest, I'll give you the opportunity to do that as well. And I'll go first. For my plug, if you were nice enough to listen to last week's episode of this podcast, you heard me get talked into going on Letterboxd. So I'm on Letterboxd now. Let's follow each other, everyone who listens. Search for Forgotten Video Store on Letterboxd. And Luke, let's follow each other on.
Dude,
on
I'm pulling it up now. I'm following you as we speak.
Awesome! Thanks so much. For my rant, I don't like it when hosts on TV shows or podcasts say to the audience, "See you next time." I'm like, you better not be seeing me. I don't remember giving you permission to look at me. This is a one-way street, brother. I can see you or hear you, but you're not allowed to see me. Everyone on TV, listen up. Stop trying to see me. Okay, Luke, do you have any plugs or rants?
Yes, I will 100% take this moment to, I just finished a feature film called Tricks Can Go Wrong. Mm-hmm. It is available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime.
Definitely check that out.
You can rent it. You can buy it. I appreciate it. It's a mockumentary about a failure to launch magician who, despite his friends and family's better judgment, decides to pursue a career in magic. And it's half man on the street humor, a la Nathan For You, Eric Andre, and half scripted moments that kind of set up those real people scenes.
Yeah, I recommend it. Do you have any rants for me?
You know, I love fireworks. I love fireworks. I love watching fireworks. However, my dog is very afraid of fireworks. So if you're lighting them off, maybe shoot me a text beforehand so I can put my dog somewhere.
Everyone in LA? Does everyone have your number?
LA. Everyone in LA has my number. Let me know so my dog doesn't have a minor heart attack anytime he hears a big bang outside our window.
I don't like fireworks. I'm not on board with fireworks. I'm like, okay, it's like, it's not like it's different every year. It's always the same shit. It's like you see one, you've seen them all. And like, you have to be a real slack-jawed moron to be entertained by these things. Duh, it's bright and loud. And I really don't like people shooting them off like any old day. Remember 2020 when it was like lockdown? It's like there was no other entertainment. So like every single night people are shooting off fireworks for hours and hours. And I don't think I'll ever get over that. I was so mad every night of that year.
I know, man. It's so funny. I've never felt more like Old Man Jenkins until kids were lighting fireworks off in our back alleyway. And my dog was petrified.
Yeah, okay. Forgotten Video Store, the podcast is coming down strong against fireworks.
Hell yeah. I appreciate it. My dog will appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Video Store. After listening to that whole thing, you could use a little R&R. Rate and review. Yeah, rate and review this podcast. I'll probably be back next week with an episode that'll make you say, hey, that was pretty good. Forgotten Video Store is a slop-free zone. We never use any kind of AI for any part of the production of this podcast, not even the hastily photoshopped episode art. The music in this episode was Funky Energy Loop by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Okay, bye!